What is going on, everybody? It's your boy John, and welcome back to Gearbox. So today we've got a special package. If you see a bunch of crap all over the island, please disregard. I just got back from a work trip, but this box came in, and so it's time to get to work. What we have here today is something that is very minor, probably for most, but I do think it will make a big difference in the Mark V Supra. And so without further ado, let's take a gander. Yes, I have already cracked the seal, but what we are working with here is the Rexspeed kind of shifter replacements in the car. So if you guys are familiar, and of course I'll show you throughout the video, but the stock shifters are kind of, like the paddles are pretty small and they feel kind of cheap. We went with the red carbon fiber. I thought it would be a good accent to the rest of the red on the car. And yes, there is more coming, so just hint, hint. But basically we're gonna pop out the airbag to the steering wheel. That's how you get to the attach points of the, I guess, OEM paddle shifters. We'll switch over the hardware to these, and these will have that magnetic feel along with having a lot more surface area to actually shift the car into gear or whatever. So first things first, what we need to do is disconnect the battery. Yes, we are messing with a live explosive, as in the airbag. So we'll do that first, hop into the front seat of the car, get the airbag pulled, and go from there. Shouldn't be too terribly difficult, although this is something that I have never done as far as disassembling a steering wheel. So a little bit nervous, but taking y'all along for the ride. So let's just go ahead, get right into it. So guys, to get started, the first thing we need to do is disconnect the battery. Unlike most cars, the battery in the Supra is actually located in the rear. So just take this, kind of back piece there, shove it back, and we have the battery. To my understanding, we'll just flip this puppy up, unscrew it, and really just undo the positive terminal. Outside of that, everything else should be dead. We'll make sure to leave this open, as well as pretty much the rest of the car open, just so we don't get locked out of it when the battery's disconnected. But either way, do that, and then we'll go on to the cockpit of the car and disassemble the steering wheel. So as we're disconnecting the battery, just something to keep in mind. Obviously we have the positive terminal here, but in order to keep this wire out of the way, I am gonna wedge this plastic piece in between it, just to make sure that nothing is going to touch. Is it overkill? Maybe, but I'd rather be safe than sorry while working with electrical. So we'll do that and we'll move on to the front of the car. So now on to the scary part. When, I guess, disassembling the steering wheel, we actually need to puncture said steering wheel with a flathead screwdriver. I haven't tried this yet, so I'm thinking that this size, more or less, is gonna be the way to go. But let me show you where exactly we need to get this screwdriver in order to pop out the airbag. So I know this is probably not the best filming ever. I've got my phone flashlight here and the camera, of course, but if you see this notch right about there, kind of in the crease of the steering wheel, that's where we're going to put the flathead. Once we get the flathead through there, that is going to basically get the spring for where the actual airbag sits. There's another one on this side as well. So we'll get those two springs unlatched, pop it out, disconnect the airbag, and then we'll be on to basically step 3 in the install process. I'm not gonna say a whole lot here, guys, but that sucked, okay? That was horrible. Very, very difficult. I also learned something as I was watching videos to figure out how to get the damn thing out. By the way, here we are. Make sure you don't pull too far because this is still attached to stuff. But when they say press on the spring, I was under the impression that the screwdriver would go in and you'd press on it like a lever to disengage it. you're actually pushing against the spring. I'll show you here in a second once I get this detached. But that sucked. That was, no shit, probably 40 minutes of trying to dick around with that. I got it a couple times on one side, and I go to the next side, and I'd click it back in, and it sucked. Anyway, wow. I'm about to go get a Miller Lite. Miller Lite, please sponsor me. Because, boy, did that suck, and I am sweating like a whore in church. So let's get a beer, let's recharge, and we'll be back. All right, so now we have the explosive, aka airbag, in my hand. Really not difficult once you get the damn springs out. This big black piece right here, that's what she said. Easiest to go in there with a flathead and push down. I know I was, filming some B-roll there. Kind of difficult to film being a one-man show. But either way, once you do that, then you can just pull this from here, and you are rocking and rolling. Now, one thing I did want to mention here, as it relates to kind of the orientation of your screwdriver. So if we put it in here, let me also flip this around and make sure that I can film this correctly. So there's a screwdriver. Instead of going back and pushing back toward you, what you're doing is going in, trying to find the spring and pushing against that. Now, when you are doing this, once again, difficult to film here, but you want to push against the actual horn and push with the screwdriver at the same time. For the record, this side right here unlatches these two. The left side unlatches only this one. So I did the left side first, and then I went to the right side, so it was kind of tilted already. I would think maybe doing the right side first would make it a little bit easier. Either way, it's going to be a pain in the ass, if I'm being honest. But just note that you are pushing against the spring, not prying the spring out. And these are the springs that we are referencing right here. So you're pushing, pushing, pushing. Obviously, I tore this to shit. And same thing right here. Just push against that, and that will unlock these mechanisms right there. Should be easy enough. Is a pain in the ass, but whatever. Now let's get to disassembling these paddle shifters. So now that we've gone over all of that, now it is time to disconnect the actual paddles. What we're looking at right here is this bolt, which is a T20, and then we need to disconnect this blue connector as well. I've actually gone ahead and got some needle nose because I know this is going to be sitting in like a rubber grommet type of deal. So we'll go and do that to try to pull it out. Once we disconnect, once again, T20, and this should fall right off. I've already loosened it a little bit. So we don't need to take the steering wheel off. Thank God, not that it's that difficult. It is that big boy right there. But either way, once we get these off, it's basically going to be rebuild the new shifters, reinstall, and we're off to the races. So now that we have the OEM shifter out, what we need to do is transition this back plate over to the new shifter. Now, really the kind of main, I guess, first step in this process is there is a post right here. If you look on the top and the bottom, just need to get something, I guess, pretty small and, I don't know, able to fit in there to push that post all the way through. And then that will uncover the brains behind the paddle shifter, transition that over to the new one, and then we're ready to reinstall everything. Shouldn't be too terribly hard, but let me go ahead, get this off, and we'll go from there. So now that we've got everything off of here, we are going to transition this in the same orientation back over. Now, something to keep in mind is this spring. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that is required in order to make sure that this thing can bounce back and act as it is supposed to. These clip on, they kind of go under and over once you have the spring attached. I'm gonna focus on getting this right. Then these particular shifters come with a new linear piece to go through and connect everything. But once we do that, we'll do the second one, reinstall, and be good to go. All right, y'all, so we have officially transferred over the OEM paddle shifters over to the Rexspeed paddle shifters. I put it in, or at least halfway. I bolted it up, still need to plug everything in, but first look, yes, I know I'm missing this one still, but boy, Does that look awesome? Feels amazing, and having the extra real estate to sit here and shift. Super pumped that I went with the red carbon fiber as opposed to the black. Not that I have a problem with carbon fiber or black carbon fiber, but I wanted to kind of have a little bit of, I don't know, contrast, I guess you could say. And I think this is the perfect amount. When you turn on the car, there's a lot of red in the gauge cluster. There's a lot of red accents on the outside of the car, on the engine bay. So having the red carbon fiber is awesome, in my opinion. I'm not going to go for a drive today. I've got some family stuff I need to deal with, but we've got it installed, ready to go. I'll be sure to update you guys once we have the first official drive with the new paddle shifters, but I could not be more pleased. Kind of overall thoughts here. Not difficult once you get the damn airbag out. It is, that part sucks. That part really sucks. But once you do that, just a couple electrical connections, nothing crazy. Obviously, we're going to make sure we plug these back in here, this back in there, obviously this one, and the big kind of main plug to the ECU. We're going to clamp it in, and then once we put the airbag back in and kind of push it, we should be good to go. Obviously, we'll reconnect the battery, and nothing should change, right? We swapped over the OEM brains to the paddle shifters, so it's really more of an aesthetic thing than anything. But of course, guys, I'll be sure to keep you updated. I know this video was kind of choppy. There was a lot going on, but if you have any questions on the install process of the paddle shifters, please drop it in the comment section down below. If you like this video and want to see more installs on the Mark V Supra, give this video a big fat thumbs up. And as always, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know the drill. Until next time, peace.